Hi, this is Cynthia Ortiz. These are the Charles Perry Stalker podcasts. It is October 24th, 2021, Sunday. It's been a weird couple of days, man. Weird couple of days. So, let's do the disclaimer. Use allegedly. You know, everybody's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, that kind of stuff. Mr. Warman makes me say. Apply the but-for standard, but for Mr. Perry's harassment and crap, then we wouldn't need to do a podcast, would we? The podcasts are not intended to harass him. The podcasts are intended to establish premeditation and malicious intent on his part. I did move twice to get away from him and to avoid a conflict and his drama. This guy is all about the drama. The other thing is use the reasonable person standard. What would any reasonable person do in my situation if you're being stalked and harassed all the time? They tried another murder frame up, I guess. He's tried 2 or 3 with me. And then, of course, we have the Mike Neely situation where he's accused of beating someone to death and miraculously ends up with not a mark on him. And I knew he was drugged months before that came out in depositions, and I'm not allowed to testify. That's called suborning perjury. When you conceal a material fact from the jury or the deciding body, that could change the outcome. There's 2 parts to that. One is, well, there's about 5, actually. The person has a duty to disclose it, which would have been Mr. Myers and Mr. Mitchell. Number 2, it would have been, you have a duty to disclose the fact. The fact is material to the case, and it could change the outcome. It's significant enough to change the outcome. Well, if I'm telling people in January, February, March, Officer Neely did not beat Chief Miller to death, he was drugged. And wasn't tested prior to being given countermeasures of Narcan. And the depositions did not take place until May. That's pretty significant, is it not? We'll go over that in a minute. So Mr. Perry has a bad habit of framing people for stuff. He did a false arrest to me in January 2016. Notice the date. It was election year. We're about to hit another election year. Now he wants another frame up. If she's in jail, I get my cover up. And I can run for office. So there's the reasonable person standard. What would any reasonable person do in your shoes or think as we apply the facts, where we're not going into a court of law and lying again? This piles up. These guys don't understand. It's piling up. You lie after lie after lie after lie. Pretty soon nobody believes a word you say. They might say that to your face because they don't want to end up, getting attacked like me. But believe me, if my guys hear what you say behind your back, they got an ear to the ground on what other people say too. They don't respect you. They don't believe you. It's ridiculous that you would think they would after so many lies. Let's see, what was the other one? The First Amendment. Geez, we're allowed to say what we think in this country. You've slandered the hell out of me. I mean, smeared me, slandered me, not made any attempts to make that right. Slandered and smeared Officer Neely. You don't know how pissed off people are right now. So last night, I guess they were out at the club where I used to work asking if I was there. Asking these guys, call us next time she's here. We need to get a foot imprint. You don't have a legal reason to need my foot imprint. But I'll tell you this. For a long time, including Terry Wagner, I was getting asked, how tall are you and what size shoe do you wear? So I had coworkers asking for my cigarettes, gum, and personal items. They were giving them to Charles Perry. And again, they're starting to question this. I don't think we can do that. I think that you've overstepped here, and I don't think we can call you next time she's here. Maybe you need to find a different way to get this. And the guy said Richard can't get it unless she's at the club. Wow. Okay. Duly noted for the record. And let's remind you guys again, 40 cops are after you. You keep wanting to know who told me. How did I know this? That you were out at that club last night. Is she here? Can you call us next time she's here? We need to get an imprint of her foot, and I can't do it unless she's in this club. Because we got a murder frame up again. It's an election year. We've got this skank politician from Texas coming up here paying us a little something to frame her because we need her back in jail so she can't talk. We got you elected on purpose, Mr. Perry, so that you would be in the public. You think I mean, you're off your nut. This guy has come up here. Everybody's questioning his residency at this point because he's been in Oklahoma more than he's in Lubbock. Well, you stay in a certain place for a certain length of time, you live there. That gives Oklahoma courts jurisdiction over you. I've heard he's tried to get my whole family to sue me because we're doing a stalking thing and we need to isolate her. And we can't have her talking to her family. We've got to make sure we cut her off from everybody she knows and loves. Because we got to gaslight her and tell her what she thinks. But the thing is I have 40 cops that talk to me all the time. It wouldn't matter anyway. So, Richard, you've been recorded over and over and over and over and over talking about getting my ringtone. They also had my coworkers looking at my phone, watching me on my phone. My coworkers, I promise you, couldn't give a shit about what I do on my phone. If they looked on what I was doing on my phone, it was only because you told them to. They're not that nosy. They don't give a fuck what I'm doing on my phone. So then they breached attorney-client privilege because I'm talking to my attorney on my phone at work. I was also doing homework. So the guys, there was some guy that said we know that she was talking to her attorneys about what was going on at her club, what Charles was doing to her. Remember, we have the guy that said, I have 3 employees that want to know how they knew she was even in Manford. We don't know. If he's not stalking her, how did he know? How did he know where she works? We've got all kinds of shit going on with, happening to my car. About 4 or 5 accidents. Somebody hit me. One time they hit my car and I wasn't even in it. I was inside the business. It was a hit and run. They hit it and then they left. So, this guy thinks he's got a romance doing all that shit. Oh, that's my girlfriend. That's my wife. Well, I'm trying to, ruin her life. He's a sexual sadist. We have a witness that says, as long as I've known Charles Perry, and I've said this before, this is a repeat because Mr. Perry needs repeating. He's got Alzheimer's or something. He forgets that you are already caught on that. So he's going to go ahead and try it again and hope that people believe him. It's the funniest thing. I mean, it's so easy. It's not even fair because of the Alzheimer's. I mean, we're saying the same thing. The judge that grants investigatory orders asked, I've heard about 50 recordings of these idiots talking about her getting her ringtone. Have we not beat the ringtone horse to death? And the same with her car. There's probably been a recording every day since 2019 about ruining my engine, hitting my car, wrecking it, towing it, or having it impounded. Have police impound it. So, that judge has heard those. It's probable cause has been no problem. And Richard, now he wants my foot imprint. Caught, Richard. Don't piss the judge off by having that conversation again. He's already pissed off at you. You're on the top of the shit list, man. 50 some calls, recordings about you want my ringtone. We got to get her ringtone. Over and over and over and over. And the judge is like, wow, okay, they've already been caught on that. This is a crime. This is harassment. Our guys go in and are told the judge, we want to prosecute harassment of our witness, and the act is fraud in a court. The act is grand larceny with intent to coerce. The act is conversion with intent to coerce. The act is interfering with commerce, interfering with contracts. Frame up. It's part of fraud on a court, Mr. Perry. They've told him the same thing about Mr. Neely. Mr. Neely is going to go home with his family. He's going to go back to his family. And we realize that scares the shit out of you or anybody that's involved in that scandal, scam, lie, con. You shouldn't have done it. You took a life. We can't get that back. And the other thing is they were trying to do is get me on wearing socks and a lap dance. Well, I've danced for 6 years. I've given all kinds of lap dances to all kinds of police in that period of time. Some were off duty, some were undercover. And I've asked them, what's the deal with taking your shoes off? Because the only reason I take my shoes off is so I don't poke a hole in furniture with my shoes, my heels. There's girls doing a whole lot worse than that. Whole lot worse than that. And you're worried about me wearing socks? And that hasn't been a problem for 6 years, but now it's election time, so suddenly it is. It's selective prosecution because you did the same thing, or I don't know you. Someone did the same thing to Stormy Daniel, didn't they? Tried to, get her in a strip club on some stupid little minor infraction, or if it's even an infraction, because I've been told it's ambiguity in the law. Your feet are covered. I was told that by a cop, by the way, when I'm asking him, what's the deal with the shoes? I understand you can't take your shoes off. Why? Why is that a prostitution charge? Explain that to me. Give me a little more information. And all of them say, you got your socks on, you're fine. So it hadn't been a problem for 6 years, but now you got to run for office. So now it's a problem. Now you want to make a thing of it. Ask the Miller kids. Ask the Miller kids if they give a fuck about whether or not I wear socks in a lap dance. They don't have their dad anymore. Those kids, I got to have graduations. They got to have birthdays and Christmases and Thanksgivings and weddings without their dad. They don't give a shit about whether or not I wear shoes or socks in a lap dance. I assure you. And I don't dance anymore. And you guys have also been recorded trying to cut off all my funds to coax me back out to that club. Can we not get her back out to that club and on a schedule? You were told by a guy she's not going out there. I've watched her starve. I've watched her go without electricity. I've watched you guys cut off all her money. She was broke. Just right before the time of, guess what, Officer Neely's trial. Oh my gosh. Nobody will suspect a thing. We're all stupid like you. When I said my kid used to close his eyes and go, don't see me, he was a little bitty. He grew out of that. At this point, he knows you don't close your eyes and think no one else sees you. But you guys act like you don't get that. It's so easy, it's not even fair because of that. Because we got Alzheimer's, and we can get 50 recordings of y'all. We got to get a ringtone. Hundreds. We got to get our car. We got to wreck our car and make it look like it's not us. We want to kill her. We want to have a false arrest. We want to wreck her car, take her car, get her money, and make it look like it's not linked to us. And we've heard those conversations too. They're recorded. And you don't know how we do that. But y'all want to know who told. So I guess they were back out at the club and last night. Is she here? No. Can you call us next time she comes? No. What do you mean, no? I said, no, she's entitled to some confidentiality out here. We can't, we're not going to put her at risk. And he's arguing. And he says, there's nothing wrong with what we're asking you to do. That's a big thing that they'll say, is they'll tell people to do something they know is wrong. Everyone knows it's wrong. Everyone knows it's illegal. And they'll start questioning it. Oh, no, there's nothing wrong with that. They get real, kind of angry, kind of intimidating. And so people back down and go, okay, if you say so. Nope, there's something wrong with it. The other thing Mr. Robertson is famous for doing, and it pisses me the fuck off, is when you start talking about what he's doing that's illegal, he'll go, stop, back up, to interrupt your thoughts. It's rude, sir. Don't interrupt people. Yeah, little tactics like that. Little intimidation tactics. You got like a little book of weirdo, don't you? Book of weirdo techniques. So whoever listens to this, know that they do that. If you're talking something that makes logical sense, or you're saying the right thing, they'll interrupt you and go, stop, back up. Because they want to interrupt your train of thought so you don't say. And Pinto did that to me. When I was talking to Pinto, and I'm telling him, I don't like this guy, I don't want anything to do with him. And he goes, stop. Why don't you just drop the lawsuit and we'll handle this some other way, is basically what he was trying to say. Pinto was recorded, remember? I'll show that in a minute. So Mr. Perry, I'm not contacting her in the forum state. Pinto was one. Terry Wagner was one. Mickey James was one. Mickey James text. He's a Native American, by the way. Text me. It might be worth the risk of the suspicion of Gary Condit and Chandra Levy for him to kill you. And I signed an NDA, non-disclosure. And I've been watching this behind the scenes. I came in to fuck with you for him at Lipstick's Cabaret. And there's not going to be any charges here, not in Oklahoma. I'm sorry to tell you. And I said, well, maybe not. And that's a shame. That's sad. That's pathetic for anybody in law enforcement in Oklahoma. But there's an investigation going on long before I came to Oklahoma, so it's not going to matter. What's going to happen is, you got Oklahoma guys, you're going to have to explain why they didn't do anything. I promise you that's going to happen. So you better start writing your speech. Start writing that speech. Dereliction of duty is you got a cop killed because you didn't do shit. You had a clean obstruction of justice, destruction of evidence, perjury. Mr. Perry has alleged a political vendetta with no evidence to support that. He's a little podunk. He's an 86% Republican district. 3% of the state is the population of his jurisdiction. He was the new guy. I've been in politics all my life. I was born into it. My grandma, Chief Elam Hall, Roswell, New Mexico. He's got an affidavit on that UFO thing. He was a city councilman. He was a chief of police. He was a county treasurer. I was born into politics and law enforcement. Born into it. So who the fuck do you think what do you think you're doing? Who do you think you're fooling? You guys are pissing off reporters too. Remember, my guys got what you just said. They got an ear to the ground in all kinds of places. You got reporters talking to you on the phone and hanging up the phone pissed off. They just lied to me again. Do it again, I dare you. Call another reporter and lie. You will not like how that works out for you. Richard, you want my foot imprint? You don't have a legal reason to have my foot imprint. And you've had 20 people come in there and ask me how tall I am and what my shoe size is because you want to do a murder frame up for Mr. Perry. And you can go to jail with him too, if that's your choice. You're not going to frame me because it's an election time and he needs a cover-up. He needs a smear campaign. He's already done one false arrest. Last time it was time for election. Do you really think nobody's going to suspect a thing? And these 40 guys that are after you, that keep telling me what you just said, and you want to know who your rats and leaks are, do you think that if I had committed a murder ever, they wouldn't have arrested me? They would, I promise you. I'd be in jail because they'd arrest me if I killed somebody. That is not my way. I don't have a gun. I've never even tried to get a gun. Not even to protect myself. I know where I'm going when I die. So if somebody wants to kill me, of course I'm going to protect myself as much as I can, but I've not bought a gun. Because they need more time on earth to get their heart right with God, and I'm ready to go whenever I go. When I go, it's God's choice, not yours. We all know you want to kill me, and when that didn't work out, let's do a false arrest. When that didn't work out, let's take her car and starve her to death. And when you get caught on that, it's one thing after another every day. And then you guys get caught, and then you get caught again, and then you get caught again. And you have these these tactics that you use on people. Stop, back up. Rude. Mr. Robertson, stop interrupting people. That's very rude. Get some manners. We know what you're trying to do. You're trying to interrupt their thought. You don't want them to say the truth. The truth sets us free, sir. The truth sets us free. Who do you think you're fooling? See, you guys look stupid the more you try to do all this stuff and think you're fooling people. Again, you look like you're walking around with your eyes closed going, don't see me, don't see me. We all see it. We all see it plain as day. Don't ask me who told and how do you know, and then try to do this murder frame up thinking we don't know, and that you can do that because 40 cops know that I didn't kill anybody ever. Not ever in my life. Because if I had, they know me inside, outside, backward, and forward. If they know what you did, they know what I do. And they know I don't kill people. They had to put me in jail. I promise they would have put me in jail if they don't work with people that are murderers. They wouldn't work with me. They wouldn't help me. They wouldn't protect me. If I was that kind of person. I have a motive to kill Mr. Perry. I could make a phone call to somebody I know in Vegas. He'd be out in the desert, and I wouldn't have to go through this anymore. But guess what? That's not my way. I don't do shit like that. I don't stoop to the level you are. And in that way, I control how you can't control what people do to you, but you control how you react to it. And I choose not to lower myself to your skank level. You're pathetic, Richard. Again, you're at the top of the shit list with these guys. These guys that quoted what you just said. So they're trying to intimidate, and they're telling him, Oh, no, there's nothing wrong with it, because they're starting to question this. We can't do that. There's something wrong with that. We don't need to be calling you every time she's out here. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. Guess what? There is. And when you say that to intimidate people, that's witness tampering. My guys might get you on that too. It's not just about me. It's about everybody you harass and you fuck with and you bother and you intimidate and you try to get them to say and do what you want, legal or not. We've got this. You are coming up against a machine, and you're seeing things happen you've never ever seen before, are you not? And you're not smart enough yet. You don't have the good sense to stop yet. 50 times or so, Richard, get the ringtone. We need a ringtone. We got to get a ringtone. I got to get a ringtone. And the judge is getting pissed off at you. Have we not beat the ringtone horse to death yet? Why in the hell are we still talking about her ringtone and getting her car? And now we got to do another murder frame up. We need her foot imprint. We got to frame her for murder. We got all those people out there working where she works, getting her cigarettes and her gum to plant as evidence to say she was there. And Perry keeps typing in my phone, we got your facial recognition. Do ya? Okay, thanks for letting me know. We got a DNA match. DNA match to what? Because I didn't kill anybody. So you didn't get a DNA match to shit. We get your fingerprints, do ya? Because I got pictures of your people digging in my trash. They can get my fingerprints right off a bottle of, water or soda. You can duplicate fingerprints. I just took a forensic science class. It's easy. They're starting to use other means to identify people. Like you've got veins in your hands that are they're in a design that's unique to each individual, and people can put their hands over a scanner and it'll scan their veins. Because there's been so many duplications of fingerprints, they can't use those anymore. For certain places that are high security, to get in, you can duplicate a fingerprint. That's not hard to do at all. See, I'm in criminal justice college, and I was born into law enforcement. Richard, you're on the top of the shit list, dude. He can't get her foot imprint unless she's going back out to that club. So we got to make sure she can't make money any other way. Her mom and dad owe her a bunch of money from her grandmother. I never asked for that money until I wanted to use it to help Mike. And let me tell you something, David Robertson and Charles Perry. When I want to do something, I tell my guys first. They set everything up so that when you call to interfere with my income or commerce or contracts, they get you. They get you. Because they've told the judge, we want to charge them with harassment of our witness, and the act is grand larceny with intent to coerce or conversion with intent to coerce. Those funds were intended for me, and they've been converted to something else, haven't they? Because you made a phone call you had no business making. I can't get paid. My guys are like, we can't pay you right now because they're all over your bank accounts. Privacy laws protect banking, don't they? And yet you sit there and watch all my banking. You hacked me. I'm trying to Uber Eats last night. They're jamming up my app. My guys recorded that, Mr. Perry, the whole thing. Get the hell out of my phone. When he does stuff in my phone, they're considering it alteration of evidence. That you're making my phone do things I don't intend for it to do, aren't you? You're altering my evidence. You're not supposed to be in my phone. Hacking is a crime. Voyeurism is a crime. Stalking is a crime. You're a violent offender. We went over Lonnie Athens. He's a criminologist and a professor at Seton Hall University. He said only 1% of the population can't keep up with everybody else. Only 1%. They were abused as children. He goes through the background: child abuse, brutalization, victimization. And 1% can't get over it and do something good with the bad that happened to him, because that's the only thing we control. Professor Athens was also a victim of child abuse. Look what he's done with it. He studies criminals, and he's trying to find a way to reach them and prevent crime. That's what criminology is. How can we prevent crime? It's the study of what makes people do the weird-ass, horrible things they do, and how can we put a stop to crime or curtail it. And look what you've chosen to do with what happened to you, Mr. Perry. You gave your offender, because you say you were molested as a kid. You hate women now. And you seek to attack and attack and attack and violate and violate and violate. And ick your slime and family problems all over everybody else's family. And you lost control the second you started doing that. So our witness tells us, Mr. Perry, as long as I've known him, he trolls women. He travels without his wife. She's not there. Nobody knows really what he's doing. But I'll tell you what he's doing. He's trolling women like BTK did. And he's finding women who are divorced with children. When they're not home, he'll have somebody break in and put cameras in the house and sells watch time on the dark web. They don't know it. They've not consented. And if they did know, they would kick your ass. Right? You're using their body to make money. You're using their body to get entertained. You're making a profit off of somebody else's body against their will without their consent. Because you're not smart enough to get a business that's legit. You're not that smart, are you? Because 99% of the population is. You can't keep up. You're inept. You're socially and mentally inept. 99% of the population, David Robertson, Josh Burson, Joe Chadwick, Charles Perry, Matthew Powell, can figure out how to live their lives and not break the law and not need to buy one cop or one judge. And you can't. 99% of the population can figure out how to make money and it's legal, and you can't. You can't. You're inept. You got to cover up. You got to go into court and lie. You got to go to the media and lie. You got to do murder frame-ups, and you got to do all this stuff. We don't have to do it, and you do. And that's pathetic. That is very pathetic. You guys are sex perverts, and you just found a way to make money at it. And that's not your money, by the way. That's our money, and we'll get it back. When my guys get you, we're going to get our money back. It's already been discussed. So will Officer Neely. I don't know who the hell you think you're fooling. So our guy says he sells watch time on the dark web, and he's a sex pervert. He's a sadist. He's sexually dysfunctional. And I'm doing the crime causation here, Judge. None of this is intended to hurt or harass Mr. Perry. I get that his feelings are hurt when we're calling it like it is. It's criminology, it's crime causation, and that's all this is. Why does somebody fucking do that to another person? Netflix special. You're the next one, Perry. The next Netflix original. Why the fuck would anyone do that? That's you, and David Robertson, and Matt Powell, and Josh Burson, and Joe Chadwick, and Calvin, and Richard. Why the fuck would you do that, Richard? Are you off your nut too? Man, you better fucking, golly. You're not all there, are you, Richard? Because all you have to do is look back at history and go, I don't think that's going to work. And I'm saying 50 times you're recorded. Got to get a ringtone, and you're still going at it. You're just like Charles, you got Alzheimer's too? I mean, come on with that. Okay, so, I mean, who the fuck do you think you are, Richard? 40 police officers are doing it right, and you're doing it wrong. And you think they wouldn't know if I'd committed a murder? If they know what you just said about getting my ringtone? You need my foot imprint? You're off your nut, man. You're fucking nuts. You got a mental problem, too. Go see a shrink. Our judge is irritated with you specifically. In particular, do they not know they're caught? I mean, I know they're caught. You guys know they're caught. She knows they're caught. Do they not know? How come everybody else knows and they don't know yet? Even though it's been said over and over and over and over and over and over. I mean, this is getting irritating. That we have to hear the same thing. I'm bored. I'm very bored with hearing the same damn conversation about they need to get her ringtone. They need to wreck her car. They need to take her money. We need to get her back out that club and on that pole. And on the schedule. I'm hearing the same conversations, he says. Why is that? What disease process is in their mind, he asks the shrink, that's making these men not realize we've already had the conversation. It's already been said. She already knows they're caught. And yet they're still having the same conversations. I don't understand this. Is this a nursing home we're in? Are we all in a nursing home here? Come on, Richard. Yep. You call my attorney before you do anything else, Richard. And you don't talk to me. And you don't talk to anybody I work with. Because right now, that's witness tampering. It's none of your business when I go in that club, Richard. You don't need my foot imprint. You need something, you call my attorney. And don't you fuck with me again. Because you're getting it wrong and I'm getting it right. And you know that. It's election time. Mr. Perry needs another cover-up. He needs another false arrest. So he can smear me and think nobody will suspect a thing. You don't need my ringtone. Don't you fuck with me again. You need something, Richard, you call my attorney. Do you understand? You don't have a choice. You're going to need your own criminal defense attorney, I promise you. Do you understand? You don't have a choice. You need to get... You guys are not in reality. You ask me who told, who's the leaks, but you're not getting it. Someone told. You're caught. Get yourself an attorney, Mr. Richard. You're going to need one. You just fucked up. You're going to need one. 50 about my ringtone, Richard. You're going to have to explain that in court. Same conversation over and over and over and over. So our witness says, he's selling watch time on the dark web. He likes getting these women fired. Then he hacks them so they can't get another job. He sees where they're applying and I'll call people and tell them don't hire her. Then they lose their house. Then he has the ex take the kids away. Now you have this nice little happy family. Kids all in a peaceful, supportive home that they need to grow up like that. They have their needs met. And all that is blown up. And these families are ripped apart. And then he said Charles likes to get women hysterical so he can go rub one out. He's a sexually dysfunctional sadist. Did he do that to Cynthia? And our guy said, yeah, he did. More than once he's caused her to lose her home. More than once he's caused her to lose her job. More than once he's caused some sort of profound, catastrophic loss to her. And he had her parents get the older son. We wouldn't let him get the younger one. He tried. He tried. We intervened, and he couldn't do it. But she has suffered. And the guy said, I'm glad somebody's finally putting a stop to it. I'm sick of sleeping with one eye open. You think people don't know, Charles, who you really are? You're mad because I took your facade down, your mask off? Boo fucking who? You need to man up. You need to fucking man up. You are all girled up. The drama queen act. Poor me. She rejected me. I'm entitled. I'm just like all serial killers. You got a grandiose idea of yourself. And you think you're entitled to just take and rob and ruin. And you too, Richard. You a serial killer, Richard? Are you the Sheriff Rowan in this deal? You like kissing the ass and being the bitch of a sex pervert? I mean, you're on top of the shit list. You don't need my foot imprint. You call my attorney if you need something like that. And you don't fuck with me again. Because if I found out what you're doing is illegal, I'm not told everything. If there's going to be some... I mean, this investigation isn't just about me. Surely you guys know that. I'm not the only victim. So when I'm told something that you're trying to do, that means, first of all, it's going to cause me a harm, an injury. Second of all, it's illegal. Or, I mean, there's all you think I'm the only thing they're getting information on? The only person, the only victim? You gotta be shitting us with that. Right? Gotta be shitting us with that. I mean, who the hell do you think you are? You need my... So, yeah, Terry Wagner was one. The conduit of coercion, we call him. Was one that was asking me about my shoe size and my height. That is the funniest. I mean, golly, wow. You send 20 guys in. What's your height? What's your shoe size? Do you know most customers don't ask those kind of questions? They don't give a fuck.